Thank you, Yasin. Thank you so much. Good evening. Okay, Assalamualaikum, and a very good evening to all. We are back here again in Pixel Ventures weekly Clubhouse session. Just to recap, PPV and Magic is now running Global Market Fit Program USA, where 10 eligible Malaysian startups were selected to participate in a 9-week accelerator program focusing in expanding business in the United States. Each week, we will feature 2 startups from GMP USA Cohort 1 in our Clubhouse session, basically to share their entrepreneurship journey with us. My name is Shahrul. Welcome again for those who have just joined us in Clubhouse. For your information, this Clubhouse session is also streamed live in Pixel Play Ventures YouTube page. Therefore, for those who are not familiar with Clubhouse or by any means unable to join chatting with us tonight, you can view the live stream in PPV's YouTube channel. Do not forget to subscribe our channel as well as like our videos for support. Yeah. And while waiting for our Clubhouse room to be populated, a little background about who we are. Pixel Play Ventures, in short PPV, we are a venture capital management corporation, or known as a VC, registered with Securities Commission of Malaysia. PPV focuses on investing in rapidly growing mid to late stage companies that fits PPV's ethical venture build philosophy, which is designed for the ethical conscious investors and founders. And together with our partner, US Market Access Center from Silicon Valley, we are now running a, again, 9-week accelerator program for 10 Malaysia companies to have access to specifically the United States and global markets in order to prepare them to expand the Silicon Valley way. Okay, let's go. Thank you to those friends and audience who are now with us in Clubhouse. I can see our cohort, GMP cohort 1 in, Shiong, Eri, Benny, and the rest. Thank you so much for joining us. The room will be populated soon. And also, hello to those watching this live stream via YouTube. Some logistics to those in Clubhouse. Hope you enjoy listening to this session tonight, and feel free to participate by pressing the palm icon at the bottom of your Clubhouse screen. Our moderator will promote you to speak and interact with our panelists. Whatever it may be, questions or sharing your personal thoughts, very much welcome. And those who are watching via Pixel Play Ventures YouTube channel, do not forget to subscribe again and like our videos. There will be recap videos for our live stream. Thank you for the support. You may also key in your remarks and questions in the comment section. Our moderator will pick them up and convey to our fellow panelists. And tonight, we are continuing with chapter 4 of our Entrepreneurship Founder Story series. Together with us, we have Harith Rizwan from the Green Factory, as well as Bostami Ahmad from ARTWIST. Not forgetting my fellow Pixel Play Ventures partners, J. Amiruddin Aziz, Abang Ami, Ron Palare, as well as Ahmad Razali, who can't join us via YouTube, but he's listening in Clubhouse. Yes, thank you so much for joining us. Good evening, Harith, Bo, Abang Ami, Ron, and Zali. Assalamualaikum. Have you guys had your dinner?
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam. Yes, we have.
Sudah makan, eh? Okay. Let me start with a quick introduction of our founders before we let them share their interesting journey. I will first start with Harith. Harith, also known as the Green Carpenter. Harith is the second generation woodworker of the Green Factory, a legacy business started way back since 1993. The Green Factory advocates for sustainable production and consumption through learning programs and public outreach. They are a sustainable wood manufacturer focusing on interior fit-out. Famous for their zero waste philosophy, the Green Factory manufactures furniture, homeware, as well as corporate gifts. Worth mentioning, the Green Factory received a couple of outstanding awards, including MTCC Sustainability Awards 2019 in Innovation and Diversification, Good Design Awards Japan 2018 in Sustainable Manufacturing, as well as Europa Awards for Sustainability 2018 in the SME category, NEST Environmental Impact. A couple of media appearances by Harith and the Green Factory also include Maxis Business, The Star, Vulcan Post, The Sun Daily, Astro Awani, BFM, and Newsrates Times. Harith is also the CEO and director of One Tech Sendirian Berhad. He was also the founder of Malaysia's first PEFC certified homeware brand, DAPO, DAPO, and Asia's first PEFC certified fashion wear accessories, Oran and Bula. Before the Green Factory, he was the director of ARD Karate Sendirian Berhad. Harith attended Nottingham University. Our next panelist is Bostami Ahmad. In 2017, Bo, together with Zakia Hassan, founded ARTWIST. Combining fine arts and design, ARTWIST is a watch design company with 3 years experience in original equipment manufacture as well as original design manufacturer. They have collaborated with huge names, including our former Prime Minister, Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, composer, singer, and music legend Dato' M. Nasir, as well as legendary Malaysian music bands such as Wings and Butterfingers. Artwists were featured in The Sun Daily, O Media, Astro, Sinar, Bernama, and The Rakyat Post. And before Artwist, Bo, he was the former automotive and industrial designer for Lamborghini, Moleskine, 3M in Italy, and Google X Prize Moon. Oh, what a mouthful. He was a car designer at ProReka Malaysia Sdn Bhd, as well as a car designer at Proton. Both studied in Multimedia University, University of Warwick, and did his master's in car and transportation design in Scuola Politecnica, which is Polytechnic School of Design in Milan, Italy. Well, guys, again, it was quite a mouthful, especially for Bo. I hope, Harith, Bo, I've done justice introducing you. Nevertheless, you guys can go ahead and introduce yourself later. And without further ado, let's start the evening with Harith. Okay, bro. Harith, can you share with us more? Yeah. Sorry?
Tak ada. Okay.
Boleh? Okay, Harith.
Boleh.
Harith dulu. Okay, Harith, can you share with us more on your startup journey? We know the Green Factory initiative was launched in 2021. However, it has been a family business for the past 28 years. Do share with us how it all started. And I'm sure it is such an intriguing story to learn about a second generation woodworker in the family who turned a legacy traditional business into a startup. Enlighten us, Harith.
Okay, thank you very much, Arul. Thank you very much, PPV, for inviting me for tonight's session. Just a little bit of background. My family founded the business in 1993. So early part of the my younger years, I think since 10 years old, I will be going to the factory during school holidays and be a child labor there. So it wasn't it wasn't really a fun thing for to do on a holiday, but I grew up in the industry lah. So every year I will be involved a lot with the business, and after I finished my university in UK, I came back to Malaysia and joined the family business. And within few years after that, 2011, my daughter was born, and that is one of the first thing that I thought about is like the future, like how will the future be, what would be the direction of me or the company and all that. So I started to look more deeper into the industry and saw that there's a lot of injustice in the system. Just to share with you, Malaysia is one of the top 10 manufacturer of wood products in the world. So Malaysia is very strong in our wood industry. Malaysia have exported to more than 160 countries, but we are always being seen as unsustainable, especially from the Westerners lah. So in 2012, I decided, okay, I want to explore the green market. But at that time, I don't know what green furniture is. But I just know that I want to go towards sustainable direction. And now it's almost 9 years already. We are in the green space, and we have like sent our products to more than 20 countries. We have right now focus more on youth development. So we have a lot of youth in the business. 80% of our staff is youth below 35. And these past few years, we have been focusing a lot on education and activism where we
Not
get
child labor, Harith. Below 25,
no.
but not child labor.
Dia sekarang dia name dia it's intern.
Intern. Okay, go ahead, go
So
ahead.
and then that is when now we focus a lot on helping companies move towards sustainability and using sustainability as a competitive advantage lah.
Thank
Yeah.
you for the introduction. Farah is in. Hi, Farah. Sorry, I was just glancing through Clubhouse screen and I saw Farah Wahidah who just came in. Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. Okay, moving on. Thank you, Harith. Before we discuss further about your journey as well as your experience, I would let Bo to do his part of his introduction. Moving on to Bo. Okay, Bo, you studied applied science and has always been in the automotive sector. In fact, you were at the right place, man. Italy. For your information, I am personally an Alfisti, and I drive nothing but Alfa Romeo. I mean, no offense to the Beamers peeps out there, but you know there is a saying: if you want to look cool, drive a BMW. But if you want prestige and experience the ultimate driving pleasure, drive Alfa Romeo. Hashtag kereta keluaran Malaysia dikecualikan lah kan. I mean, do support our local products and local cars. But honestly, sekarang kalau Mercedes tengok dekat belakang ada Myvi, Mercedes pun kasih jalan, right? So that is how proud we are, and how good our local cars are. Nevertheless, you then move on to designing watches. From automotive, you design watches. You know, Malaysia is not known to be a watch manufacturer country. Normally, when people talk about watch, they will refer to the likes of Switzerland, Germany, and Japan. So tell us your story.
All right. First of all, Assalamualaikum and um, hello to everybody. It is indeed an honor for me to be here tonight to speak to all of you. Probably share one thing or two from our experience in Artwist. So before that, I just share a bit on my personal journey before we start our twist. So I was born and raised in a small town in Jengke Pahang. So I was a Felda boy. So growing up, if you've been to this Felda and Kampong area, um, during in the 1980s where I was a small kids, there is not much thing to do basically, or there's not much of entertainment, I would say. We had a lot of difficulties in growing up. So actually, those are the things that when I look back, I thankfully to God because that was the thing that um, give me pure inspiration on how to become a creative person. Okay, when you are in boredom, then there's a lot of things that you have to spend your time doing and creating. So I remember there's one story when I was 9 years old, and I was cycling to a small shop in near our kampong. So in that shop, there is a skateboard, a skateboard, a beautiful skateboard, the one that you see on TV in the USA. People playing, probably Tony Hawk just started their career. So I was like so in love with that objects and products. And it was a moving thing for me, but then I know directly that I wouldn't be able to afford and buy that skateboard because I know my dad wouldn't be able to buy it. So I cycle fastly going back home with full of kind of sedih a little bit, but then I have that suddenly the inner inside me telling me that hey, if I cannot buy that, why not I am creating that? So I go back to my house. I go to the back of the house. We have a lot of woods. So come back to Harris later. So there's a lot of wood, recycled wood that my father used to build our house. So I took that plank of wood and I take a paper and pencil and I sketch exactly the same skateboard that I saw on that shop. And then I cut it accordingly, according to the size. And I furthermore looking for a old trolley bag with a trolley with a roda at the bottom of it. Then I cut up all of this thing and I screw it and finally I have my own skateboard. So voila, that
Ah,
was my first
skateboard.
object design.
Not to
Gila
share
lah.
kita kat the same age, tapi you didn't know Haris back then, right?
I didn't know yet. We just connected tonight. So
Okay. Bo orang jengkel, budak-budak Felda. Harith?
Yeah.
Sorry, Harith?
Aku budak KL.
That KL boy, skater boy. Itu Tony Hawk apa semua dia.
Haris Americano. He was born in...
Alright, sorry Bo, go ahead Bo, yes. So after you design and you actually created your own skateboard.
Yeah,
Tu
so
berapa umur tu?
I think about 9 years old or 10 years old.
Gila lah,
Wow.
gila.
So I was quite impressed with myself, because I didn't ask my father's money, but later on, my father find out that I cut that that roda. He was super angry with me, but then he was like, part of angry, but it's not part of maybe proud, I guess, because I didn't ask the money and I make full use of that thing and design my first object. So that was that moment give me a sense of like, wow, maybe this is could be my superpower. Like I can do something, I can build something, and that was the joyous moment. And I remember from that on time, I keep sketching, I keep drawing, designing. And I remember there's one time when I was 15 years old. I didn't do that well in the school because I was like always daydreaming, berangan, I'm not really good in school. So I was selalu melukis. I remember in my notebook, I wrote that one day I am going to design for Ferrari in that book. So that was when I was 15 years old. And fast forward to the future years, and growing up in Felda, my father don't have a car, and my dream was I want to design a car for my father. So that was a part of the dream too. And then fast forward in 2007, Lamborghini come up with the announcement, the global announcement that they are looking for a young designers to come to Italy. So I was like super excited, and I apply, send all my sketches, emailing to them. And after a month, there is no response. Second month, nothing happens, and the third month, I was like, there's a false hope, like this is not going well. But suddenly, I received a phone call. That time iPhone tak ada lagi, just my old Nokia Sabun, those kind 3 to 10 kind of thing. Then it was a strange number, like +46, right? So you know that this is not Malaysian number. So I pick up that call, and over the phone, I heard this young lady, "Hello, Mr. Bosami. This is Valentina from Milan, Italy, calling regarding the Lamborghini projects." I say, "Okay, wow." Then I just want to tell you that we seen your design. Our chief designer of Lamborghini has seen your design and sketches, but then he said that is not good enough. Then I was like, if it's not good enough, why do you call me like far away from Italy, right? So I was like curious. Then she said like, no, it's not like that. Like they are actually looking for the real sketches, like the one that you draw using pen, pencil kind of stuff. So I was like, oh, okay, I have that, but in my kampung, I have to go back and compile and send. Yeah, do it. So I drove like come back to my kampung, and I remember I have this stick of old drawings that I draw from my early years, all cars for the most of it, and Lamborghini one of them. So I compile them and go to the DL, the KL, and ship right away to the Milan. It was the most expensive parcel I ever
That's
sent.
super.
And it was my masterpiece, right? So they took away my masterpiece, and I had no options. So I sent that after a month, second month, then nothing happened. But then, like the third month, I received another call for the same lady, and she said like, "Hey, Bostami, we received your design. Thank you very much. Our boss has already seen your sketches, and he loved it, and we would like to welcome you to Italy." So I went to Italy a month later. So it was like,
Oh, tak
I
ada
just
tepuk
believe
tangan,
it.
tak ada audio tepuk tangan lah. But yeah, enough. Tak apa. Go ahead.
So looking backwards, like trying to connect the dots, like I remember when I was 15 years old, I wrote that I want to design for Ferrari, but then this is Lamborghini, which is much better. So that was starting of my career, become a car designer. I spent a couple of years in Milan, Italy with co-founder of ARTWIST, Zakia. She's also in this clubhouse. So she's been instrumental in helping my career grow as a car designer. Then come back to Malaysia a couple of years later, and I got offered to work with Proton, and I was part of the design team designing the car that you see on the road right now, the Proton Iris, the Proton Perdana. So that was my last project before I left, and I really wanted to start a company, a startup, since that thing. And then, that time it was like the media saying like, hey, this is cool, this is sexy, let's build a business, make a startup, this company make millions, billions. So it was like the in thing during that time. And I was hooked. I was really hooked, and I know a lot of things happening in Cyberjaya, right? So I spent a lot of my energy, my time investing moment over there, and find couple of friends. Then we open up the company. So Artwist is not my first company. So we do fintech, and we managed to get like a secure corporations. But then yeah, maybe coming back later for this. That was my biggest failure in the startup world, where the startup got washed away very quickly because we have too many co-founders. We are not focusing, but then we are doing well, but then there are no synergy in between. So come back to the watches, Artwist, how it was born. I was quite depressed for 1 year after that startup blew up. So I really think back that we can do really great works if we really love that thing. So coming back to my skill set, which is I love designing, and I love design something that is tangible. So it cannot be that, it cannot be car design because it's huge, it's multi-billion dollar business. So I was like looking something more smaller that I can design, and that's where the watches came in the first place. Then I can share more later about that. That's
Then
about.
this is so inspirational, apa ni, both. Thank you so much. I mean, I was personally, I was amazed, really. And before we continue, again, I'm starting to see our Clubhouse room is pretty much being populated. Thank you guys for joining us tonight, and welcome. Thank you who have just joined us in Clubhouse. We are at chapter 4 of PPV's Entrepreneurship Founder Stories series. Together with us tonight, sharing their interesting entrepreneurship journey, we have Harith from the Green Factory, as well as Bo from ArtWisp. And as a reminder to our listeners in Clubhouse, please do not be shy. Should you have any remarks to share, questions, or would like to share your experience, just press on the palm icon at the bottom of your screen. Our moderators will then put you up as a speaker. And those watching our YouTube live stream, feel free to drop your remarks and questions in the comment section. We will pick them up accordingly. Yeah. And since I mentioned that this Clubhouse is streamed live in YouTube, and for those, unfortunately for those in Clubhouse, you guys tak nampak tadi, you were not able to see as Bo was explaining about Milan, Italy. Sebenarnya tangan dia gerak-gerak tau. It's very, I went to Milan, I went to Italy, I worked with Lamborghini. It's like, the spaghetti, fettuccine dengan tangan-tangan sekali. Very interesting, and I can see, the sparks in his eyes. So yeah, I mean, please do not leave Clubhouse and don't switch to YouTube. Remain in Clubhouse. Kita sembang kat sini. You can recap this session at YouTube later. You'll be there forever, inshallah. But very inspirational, Bo. Really, seriously. My question to you: your skateboard, the first skateboard that you designed and you manufactured, do you still keep it? Do you still have it?
Well, my father keep it really tightly in our store, but then it was in 2000, I think 10. There was a big flood happening in my home, so everything washed away, and I'm really sad. But
Ouch.
it was gone. It was gone. Yeah, but I can do it again. I still remember the design, the
But,
sketch.
but it will never be the same, man.
If
I think you can
you're
auction it for.
drawing back, let me know.
Yeah. But very inspirational. It's like anak jengka Felda Jengka Pahang designed his first skateboard at the age of 11, then went to Milan, designed for Lamborghini, came back, designed Proton, that the cars that we drove today apa semua. You and Haris share similar traits, in fact, because your hardship masa you start tu, when you first started, because being not coming from a wealthy family, you were fascinated by skateboard, you can't afford it, your family couldn't afford it, hence you manufactured one yourself. Harith, on the other side, dia child labour masa kecil. So, bila kena paksa kerja, right? Masa child labour, then he started something new to give back to the society, and, uh, created intern for his company. No, I mean, I'm just joking. But anyhow, I believe, Harith, Bo, I'm sure the sun has not always been shiny in your respective journey. Do you mind to share with us your fallouts instead? The challenges you face and how you managed to overcome and move forward. I mean, Harith.
I think when I start to look into green product, I don't know where to start. because there's no reference. International pun very less. Malaysia almost none. So I okay, whatever it is, I'll just do. So that time I only understand that okay, you shouldn't touch any new trees. You need to use as much recycled wood as possible. So that is when I started using pallet furniture, using pallets. So 2012, we start to make few things, but at that time there wasn't really a demand for it, so not a lot of buyer. So it was just, and it just for me to try it out. I would go like dumpster diving. I'll stop
Dumpster
at,
diving? What is
yeah.
that? Oh, dumpster diving.
So
Really?
I'll go one to construction sites and try to get the pallets, and sometimes it comes in the tong, the like the metal, big metal tong. So I have to like go out inside there and bring. And at that time I have a 4-wheel drive, so I would like stack it up and bring back to the factory, and then like fill up the back area of the factory with pallets. And my mom would be mad on why am I bringing like waste to the factory. So like those are the things lah, because I decided I want to try something. And by the end of the year is when the hipster cafe movement started. So that is when you see a lot of people or cafes, restaurant using recycled wood or second-hand furniture, and that is when things started to um like explode, not explode lah, but started to move. And I did a lot of those hipster cafes back in the days, but now it's a bit saturated because there's a lot of players already. But what we did, what we I learned was at that time, to find opportunity and leverage on the wave. So that is the trend, and we leverage on the trend. And now when the trend is saturated, the market is saturated, then we move out, we do other things. Like right now we went into homeware, so that is when the po is born. And because we saw a need, like in Malaysia at that time, there's very little manufacturer who do this serving board, chopping board and all that. A lot of them comes from Indonesia or Thailand. So that is when I decided, okay, I want to enter this market. And then that is when we start to build the brand. And now we have a lot more people doing that in Malaysia as well. So that is why we have to be a few steps ahead. And that is we when we moved to the new factory in 2017, we make the factory a R&D factory. So that is why right now we make hundreds of designs and work a lot with designers in terms of making new products and new innovation lah.
So at what age were you dump diving?
Dumpster diving.
Yeah.
To
Sorry, dumpster
2012. Time to, how old was I? This is like, I don't know.
I'm not asking you to reveal your age in public because live stream in YouTube is public, but I'm thinking
I think like 20 plus lah,
20
25
plus lah.
pun, something like
You
that.
came back. Okay,
Mm.
cool. But then again, I mean, it was a business family.
Yeah,
It was really a traditional, brick and mortar, traditional business family. But when
correct.
you came, you were working with them, prospering the business together with the family. But somehow, you started something different, and the company started to run a hybrid manner. Was there any contest from your parents or the shareholders or from the family?
I think it started off with yes, meaning like it, because it takes space in the factory, and
Mm-hmm.
two, sometimes it takes a few of the workers to do my project. Mind you, we were doing what everyone else were doing at that time for a wood factory. So we do kitchen cabinet, we do projects, so we do everything. And we are also an interior company. We do large scale interior project. So we involve in large scale projects. So like sometimes if we take few resource from there, it's a bit like taking off. I mean like we are unable to help out with the big projects lah. But eventually, once we get the momentum and we saw growth in it, so they are very supportive of it lah.
Cool. Okay. So even I mean macam cerita Hindustan lah. Initially the parents tak suka, you know. Then lama-lama dia 180 degrees turn. You know.
Bukan tak suka, just
Kenal.
like wondering lah.
Well, like you were like hoarding the place. Satu, you were hoarding the place with your new toys. Second, you were taking up the company resources, right, to do your thing. So time, effort, money, definitely being a legacy business, you know, they will make noise. I can understand, totally understand. But you've proven them in a way not wrong. But things can be more economical. Things can be more productive by introducing digital technology and being creative in the waste management and reuse waste to manufacture new things, right?
Correct.
Thank you for that, Harith. Coming back to you. Teringat tadi you kata when you went to Milan, went to Italy, that lady Valentina, I mean, she called you to come, kan? So being a Felda boy, I'm sure it was not really an easy task for you to raise fund to fly all the way to Milan. Those days, the ticket price is already quite a bomb. How do you manage? And I'm sure there were a couple of fallout challenges. Uh, I've mentioned this a couple of times last week in our Clubhouse session 3. We had a very dramatic macam bersamamu punya session, semua orang sedih je, but let's try not to be sedih this week. And but I can imagine a Felda boy flying all the way to Milan, working with them. It definitely is not a cheap thing to do. No, share with us. I mean, the challenges, whatever you faced last time around.
All right. Great questions. Nobody asked me before this kind of question, so probably this is the first time I'm sharing this. So uh, when I got that offer to come to Milan, all right, so it was a collaborative project with Scuola Politica di Design with Lamborghini. So they basically looking for a young designer to design their future DNAs of cars. So back then, if you see the car of Lamborghini, it's all very geometric, flat surfaces going around. It's very minimalistic, right? But nowadays, if you see Lamborghini on the road, it very faceted. You know, the shape is like tap all the way, and it has the beauty of it.
Tak tu. Kita dekat Zoom ni, we can see like in YouTube, you can see you, but for the benefit of those Clubhouse members yang can only hear us, what is
Yeah.
tak tadi tu?
So hopefully you can imagine the tap. You know, the surfaces. You know, the shape. All right. So I was super excited when I got that welcoming offer to go there, and I know also on the other side it takes a lot of money to go there, and on the other side, Lamborghini is sponsoring me actually for that master's degree, which is great. So I don't have to pay a lot of money for the education. But then, how about the living costs, flights, all those kind of thing? So um, I was just we just get married during that time with Zakia. So and I was lucky enough that her family came from a catering businesses, and I have zero knowledge in businesses, and I was lucky because I'm seeing them doing businesses, you know, or doing all this catering and food services. So I was thinking like I have to find money, but I cannot ask from anybody the money, the bank or whatever, right? So and I asked her that how we can do that because she's going with me as well, and during that time it was 3 months before the Hari Raya, and then Ramadan is coming.
Dah lah,
And
baru kahwin kan, takkan nak minta duit in-laws pula kan? Malulah.
so
Okay.
um so she's suggesting that we talk to her, I think cousin, which they have like a kuih raya business. Okay, so they produce kuih raya in Tanjung Karang and sell it across Selangor. So I said that let's sell kuih raya. Okay, why not? So that was my first entrepreneurial journey. That from the a joy of not going to Milan, but knowing that I don't have enough money, so I have to do something. So We rented a space in Bukit Jalil. During that time, they have kind of expo, right? So there's a lot of people selling kuih raya lah, baju raya semua. So we bought, I think about 12 cartons, of kuih raya on loan with the cousin, and in the hope that we can sell this and make money, and hopefully that money enough for the flight tickets, and we can go to the Italy, and then hopefully with some saving we can survive. So we do that. And I start selling kuih raya. That was my first object and product that I sell. And quite honestly, it's not easy, right? Because there are too many competitors. People are playing with the price. But how can we sell that thing in I would say a good margin. So we start do the branding for that kuih raya. We design the logo, we make a profit packaging, and then we display it nicely on that thing, on that display. And thankfully, after a week, we start selling. The first 2-3 days, there was zero income. Nobody buy the kuih raya. Normally, they buy nearly to the raya, right? So kuih tak laku in the beginning, and then throughout the raya time, there start many people coming, and then we sold out everything. But then there was something happened before that. It was rainy day times, and our booth was like hitting by this small typhoon. Kemah kita orang terbalik. It was a crazy moment. I if I recall back, I can be crying maybe, but I'm not going to cry tonight. But
Nangis tu dia
so
tak apa. Nafas tak
yeah,
nampak. Kat YouTube tak
so
nampak.
so we make good profit, I would say, and we managed to fund our flight ticket, and we was lucky too, because Zakia also got some scholarship to pursue industrial design in Milan, Italy, in the same school with me. So it was kind of like a kind of blessing that we finally managed to go there just after married, and we studied design together. I got the scholarship from Lamborghini. And coming to Milan, it was another experience, because I thought they speak English, even though my English is not that good. But 90% of Italian don't speak at all English, so it's
But you do
another.
speak Italian, no?
I speak Italian. I would say not fluently, but I can speak, and I like buying things, talk in the open market. It's okay. So nobody speak English, and then but in that school, in that design studios, most people speak English. But still, whenever I step out of that school, nobody speak English, and I was lucky enough too, because the Italian government, they have this building right in front of our apartment that teaching in Italian for stranieri, which is Italian for strangers. So we roll
Oh,
in, and it was pretty cheap, like I think $60, 60 euros per year, just to learn and speak English. So after about 3 to 4 months, we can already like yeah, we can
converse. Okay.
buongiorno, all this kind of thing. It's not that hard lah after that. So I was.
While you guys are telling your respective stories, Bu Hari tadi, Bron dengan Abang Amir duk sengih-sengih, tergelak-gelak. Nak komen apa Abang Amir, Bron? I'm sure you have questions as well. Go ahead, man.
Question tu tak ada lah, but when you guys were talking about apa ni, Beamers dengan Alfa Romeo dengan things like that, I was wondering, I thought Bo was designing for Myvi tau, sebab baru couple of days back I saw a video, Myvi sudah langgar Velfire terbalik, so I thought maybe Bo had something to do
Bu
with
yang
this.
design.
Bo design.
That was
Seriously, I was thinking of you when I saw that clip. But
No, he was Proton, not Pro 2 kan?
yeah, I know. But now I know. It didn't occur to me, But when I saw that clip, it reminded me of Bo. But now he wants to design watches, which is interesting. What I was wondering is why watches lah? Why watches of all things on this earth? You choose a watch to design. Okay, maybe you can let us know.
okay.
I watch.
So,
Why not daripada kereta? Abang Amir, for me, I was thinking when he mentioned earlier, kereta besar, right, it's too big to design, so you wanted to go for something smaller. I quote, that's what he said. So I was thinking daripada kereta, why don't you design a bike? So still designing automotive. Yet he went smaller than that.
Yeah,
Watch. Yeah. same question. Why watch?
All right. So basically,
Terkedu.
the thing that is inspired the most is that in any objects, I love designing them all. You know, even the toothbrush, I will love designing them because the core skill set in designing is that we are trying to solve a problem, and that's how design was born. Designing is not purely art where we make painting and put on the wall. Designing is about giving form a value. So in this case, number one, I love watches, and secondly, I always question myself that whenever we want to design something, we should ask why the object or the product should exist in the beginning. So in the case of watches, it carries so much values in terms of emotional experience with the human beings, and watches has been around for thousands of years. So I was into that simply because watches is something that is so close to us even before the smartphone, before the phones. And we used to wear watches from analog, now they have digitals. The evolution still, you need to see times, number one, which is those are the things that we really appreciate a lot, that we can move away. So I was really into inclined designing an object that can help us, um, not just by solving problems, but help us in daily life. So whenever we wake up every day in the morning, the first thing that we do probably, I don't know, for me, I always look at time. Time is the number one, and probably the other objects that I go is I go to the shower, I took the toothbrush, so same, it goes to the design. And time, watches, it's super sentimental values, it has emotional benefits, and it takes up to a different level in terms of the modern worlds. People buy watches because of status, for example. People buy watches because of the legacy. People buy watches because they want to be seen as something. That's why whenever you look at the Artwist watches, we have different design, and simply we want to tell the people that designing an object as a watches is like an avatar. Okay, Shadow, you love Alfa Romeo because I can understand beautiful form or beautiful colors, the sensational, the driving pleasures. It's kind of like things that become you, and unify you, and you are telling yourself and to the people who seeing what are you driving is telling about your personality. So same goes with the watches. The thing that I love so much about the watches, uh, is that you can tell people about who you are instantly without saying, hey, I am this, I am that. So for example, when we design watches for rock band Wings, right? So if you can take a look at the design, we really understand, we really do research, we really to try dig deeper what is the brand persona of Wings. So Wings, they are rock band, they are, yeah, they are bold, they have black colors, red colors. So the design has to came in the beginning. So that's what I love so much about designing watches, because there are so much value, there are so much research, understanding human behavior, experience, status, avatar. Those are the things comprising in an object, and that's how Artwist was born as a product.
I can see that you really have passion in designing. Design is really your forte. To the listeners in Clubhouse, unfortunately, you're not able to see. Whenever Bo was explaining things earlier, he was full of passion. He was super excited, very kata berapi-api bercakap tu, muka nak masuk skrin dah. However, Bo, saja nak usik sikit je. Manchester City 2, Man U 0. Dah 2 gol dah.
Kita tunggu minit
So,
89, 93.
sama kita. So just to kill off your excitement, sorry, not sorry, bro. We are going to take
Oh,
a 1 minute breather later before we go on to Harith. Bron, anything you want to ask or remark further, bro, before we take a 1 minute breather sekejap?
No, I think so far so good. I can't wait to delve deeper into their brands and their operations and their products on the second segment, actually.
Okay, thank you so much. And welcome back, everybody. We are going to take a 1 minute breather in Clubhouse. Again, for those in Clubhouse, don't be shy. Join us in our conversation. Just choose the palm icon at the bottom of your screen. We'll invite you to speak. I would love to get Zakia to be sharing her thoughts with her later. wife of Bostami. Dia orang punya hard sheet semua tu nak dengar juga. Bo ni kadang dia cakap, kadang dari satu pihak aja. To me, there's always three sides of the story. My version, your version and the actual truth. So later we invite Zakia to speak. Harith punya wife tak ada Harith She's not here tonight. Never mind.
She's here.
Ada.
She's here.
Ada.
She's here. Mana Aika? No, Aika is here. Yes, we'll invite Aika also later. But we are going to take a 1 minute breather for YouTube because we are going to play ARTWIST video promo for ARTWIST. It will run for about 20 to 40 seconds. While us in Clubhouse, we can take a breather, nak minum air ke apa ke, nak pergi toilet break ke apa. Go ahead. Thank you guys. And in YouTube, the video will play now. Appreciate if you can be honest. Don't need to cover for your husbands. Whenever the hard shit the fall out, cerita je. To me, I always share with Bo and Hari tadi. Normally when I do my session, it's always no holds barred. It's you just speak your heart out as long as you are politically correct and you don't undermine people. It's all about being inspirational and hopefully to give away lesson learned and for the better of the community. Okay, let me see if the video is already finished. Alright, video is done. And to everybody, welcome back. Thank you for those who have just joined our Clubhouse. We are at chapter 4 of PPV's Entrepreneurship Founder Story Series. Together with us tonight, sharing their interesting entrepreneurship journey. We have Harith from the Green Factory, as well as Bo from ARTWIST. Okay, Harith, let's continue. Kejap, anybody angkat tangan ke? Nak cakap dekat Clubhouse? Tak ada lagi. Tapi tak apa. Harith, let's continue. You mentioned earlier that Malaysia has always been the first mover. But somehow, we have always been the first mover, especially in wood manufacturing tadi. For example, in the halal industry, we were the first to introduce such halal certification back in 1974. Tak banyak orang tahu, not even the Arab countries. Malaysia was the first. Also, we were the first mover. We are always the first. And also in digital signatory tak silap we were the first to start with a blueprint back in 1996 if I'm not wrong. However, most of these things that I mentioned earlier, some other countries have managed to overtake us, and now we are no longer number one. I'm sure from your perspective, in your respective sector, you notice that as well. From your personal point of view, from your personal experience, both you and Bo has been doing businesses in Malaysia as well as in the UK. For you, Haris, and Bo, you have traveled to the States. Previously. How do you compare based on your experience, your exposure? Why is that so? Why were we being the first mover, but in the end, we in a way failed to sustain that number one spot?
I think aku dulu lah, Bo.
Haris.
Okay. So I didn't say we are the first mover. I said that we are one of the biggest manufacturer, Malaysia. So we are very strong in wood manufacturing. But we not to say get complacent easily. The economy is good, the industry was good, but then we stay still while other country try to be better. And Malaysia has always been focusing on OEM products, meaning like even though Malaysia exported to 160 countries, we don't have any Malaysian brand that is known internationally. There are a lot locally, but we don't have a global Malaysian brand. So and, and nobody was thinking about it because it's not what we were like it's not how the industry works. And we also focus a lot on other people design. So whoever come with us with design, we make. So we don't produce own design, and that is one of the things that I feel like I can add to the industry, where we build our brand, a Malaysian brand, and try to focus on um, being a global brand. And that is how our operation right now is a little bit different than how a traditional wood manufacturing factory work in Malaysia or company work. And so that is what makes it harder as well, because there's no one to refer to. And what we're doing is something new, so we have to do everything ourselves. So we have to like do trial and error lah. So it's very difficult. But now, because we've done it for quite some time, we've become comfortable with it. There is, and we are, I think, the greenest wood factory in Malaysia. And we try to make our factory a concept factory, where it's not just about the product that matters, it's everything about the process. So we have created a framework was for sustainable manufacturing, where we look into all aspect of operation and stakeholder. So normally when you talk about sustainability, it's always the material, but a material is a very small part of sustainability. Like for us, we look at the glue that we use, the coating that we use, the packaging, even how we operate, and the stakeholder, the makers, the government agency, the community. So these are all we look into. And just want to share that I too, like Bo, believe in design. I love design, and that is when we see how design can be a tool for sustainability. And that is why right now we have a movement called Green Design Malaysia, a community in Facebook, where we talk about green design and business of sustainability. Because sustainability is not just about saving the environment, it's a lot of things. It's sustainability means good in the long run. So it all encompasses everything, even mental health, physical health, culture preservation, and all that. So I'm seeing how we can use design as a tool for us to move as a more green nation. So
Okay,
that's for me lah.
you said it yourself, Harith. You said it yourself that it was difficult for you. They were very challenging in your respective industry because there were no point of reference. You have to do it all by yourself. There were not so much of facilitation from respective agencies, for example. But then again, you went through that process. Would you recommend entrepreneurs or new founders, young entrepreneurs or seasoned entrepreneurs to jump into your industry now after what you have experienced?
That is my job right now, asking people to come into the sustainability space. So it seems counter proactive, because we are asking for more what do you call it, competitors, but it's not. The market is so big. Like if it's look at Malaysian market is very small. But if we like open up to the world, if I share everything I do with someone, you will cater to a different market, and I will cater to a different market. You cannot cater to my client, and I cannot cater to your client. So it's about like sharing the cake, because right now sustainability is we talk about Malaysia, it's the in thing now, but it's been happening all over the world. So the pie is getting bigger and bigger. So come eat with me lah.
This is true. I'm a believer of sharing the huge pile of cake as well, rather than getting everything for yourself. But then again, in that particular industry, from manufacturing from wood, for example, Malaysia has the substance. We are the producer of wood, right? As opposed to both area where he is designing watch, you know, to champion a local manufactured product watch is really not a Malaysian forte. I did mention earlier, when you check up as a watch, people will refer to Switzerland, Germany, Japan. But you took that leap of faith. You came back, you start to design watch, and wanted to champion your watch designing as something that you want to sell globally and expand this business. I mean, true enough, now you're part of GMP USA cohort. You are looking into expanding it, but how sure are you that your leap of faith, will pay you back? Because it's not Malaysian, it's not a Malaysian product, obviously.
All right. We at Artwist believe that uh, since day one we incorporated the company, that we have one goal in mind. This will be a global company since day one, and then we put away the marks of the origins, because number one should come with the number one of any great products on the market right now. It should be bound by the customer experience of having a quality products. That's number one, and that's where design play roles in manifest all those visions. And that's how we see in our twist. Even though we know already the watch market is very noisy, there are thousands, or maybe I don't know, there are way too many brands on the market, and that's how we see that everything start to look the same, and then that's where you create a boring industry. And then that's when we thought that, hey, we can change them. Our superpower is designing. There should be a lot of different ways of thinking, of questioning again why Artwist company or brand should exist in the first place. So we want to answer to that question. Actually, it's quite a pressing issues. There are way too many brands. There are way too many same watches. There are lack of identity on it. There are too many competition. Big companies just make, I don't know, maybe million watches and try pushing into the ads and advertisements, try to probably make people consume more things, more materialistic kind of products. So that's not the direction we want to do. And talking about the Switzerland, the Japanese, obviously we hands down to them. They are the pioneer, they are the greatest because they start early. It doesn't mean that we cannot start. So if we have that kind of thinking, then we can do anything. Even we can build rocket today if we have that kind of mentality of championing the global brands. So our twist was born simply because we want to help. We want to show to the world, hey, let's not get sad because all watches looks the same. Let's do something more fun. And that's where we inject the art on it. And that's where we try to help emerging artists monetize their arts, because they are so lacking of platform to monetize something more premium. Because watches, it can be intangible in terms of value, and it can grow the value over the times. And watches can become uh, 100 ringgit to 100,000 ringgit or 1 million ringgit. But what's the value or benefit that we tell to the customers that this product, this object that exists in front of your face can give you all those benefits? It's not just purely solving the problems. So in a sense of saying Switzerland is great, yeah, that's correct. They are is great. That's great. So we came in the point of design and also a collaboration type of products. So that's how we work as a brand, as a company. And I would say like our manufacturing, like the engine, our stuff, is came from Japan. So nothing to be ashamed of. You know, we can do the collaboration, and that's how startups or businesses can took off really early and without much money, because the collaborative and partnerships works really fluidly. We just know how to ask. We just know what value or what core strength that we want to do. So I have a lot of respect for Japanese and Switzerland. Even we're going to come up with our Swiss engine kind of watches soon. So that was for the luxury market that required by we got very demands for that. So just to look on the bigger scales, building a brand is not just about a country. And it doesn't matter which country they came from. Apple was designed in California, but it was manufactured in China. There is no shame as long as China can come out with great products. That's what answering all those customer problem or why they should pay you in the beginning, even though it's a toothbrush, for example. So we
Okay.
see, yeah.
I would like to divert the attention to Bron sekejap because you shared the same sentiment as what Harith mentioned earlier. Bro, you are currently collaborating with a local clothing manufacturer, clothing line, a local brand. Do you share the same train of thoughts with Harith and Bostami in terms of championing local manufactured product and expand it globally? What do you think? Or or you are not in agreement with them?
No, I'm totally in agreement. I think whatever been holding us back has been about lack of ambition, lack of conviction, and people can complain about, yeah, we should have that policy, we should have this policy, but at the end of the day, things can only change once we make the change ourselves, and that's the reason why I just sat down and stayed quiet, listening to them like a fanboy, because I think we share a lot of sentiment in terms of ambition, in terms of conviction, in terms of conviction towards our products, but also the market, how to penetrate the market. Now that you allow me to speak, I would love to know in terms of Artwist how much, um, when it comes to Italian product, is very artisanal. The passion, very very much translated into the product, in all their products. So how much Italian influence is in Artwist watches right now? Where you draw your inspiration from?
Well, thank you, Bron. Excellent questions. Italian teach me a lot, not just by design, but by their culture, by their DNAs, by how they live every day, by how they speak, how expressive they are. But there is one lesson, one DNA that really took me a really important point in designing things, whereby they really have a good eyes in terms of proportions. Again, if we talk about cars, you can pick any Italian cars. The proportions are great. You don't know why. Alfa Romeo, Ferrari, Lamborghini. It's super hard to tell why they are so beautiful, right? So in case of that, since I was there and I learned directly from them, they are very expressive kind of society. They say a lot of things about things that they don't like, especially when they say things are not beautiful. And we start to understand and know that everything in visual, that's why and whenever you create a product, it the first thing that customer decide. Okay, within 6 seconds that you see a car, for example, then you know already you want to buy it, even though you don't have money, for example, but you know you want to buy it, but you don't know why. So the Italian is very good in this. They really appreciate a good proportions, like a beautiful horses compared to a donkey, for example. So the proportion has the mathematical inside it. So when I was studying there, there is this Italian mathematician, a legend. His name was Fibonacci. Okay, so the Fibonacci method is the thing that they use to measure the proportion of everything. So if you look at how wide, low the cars, or how beautiful the Italian woman, the proportion is super nice. Even the Vitruvian man,
You say Italian woman, sorry,
yeah,
correct me if I'm wrong. I thought you said Italian woman was so beautiful.
the proportions.
Proportion of Italian woman compared to
Yes.
wanita Melayu, eh?
I'm not saying that as a comparison, but you can see instantly, right? The famous model, the famous actresses, they have a really good proportion, and it translates into the mathematics actually. And then those are the formula that we use in ArtWiz to measure and organize mathematically, scientifically how good design should be. So actually, there's a lot of deep thinking process before we design something, and then that's where we know already if this proportion is great. Even Bron, you are an amazing producer, right? You know, like the rule of third in the cameras. If the placement of the person is here, then there should be something here. So all those elements that makes a visually appealing. So those kind of thing that has a value in terms of anything. If we can master those formula, I would say, then we can do many great things. Even the logo is nice if you apply those kind of elements in life. So I learned a lot from Italian, not just by the design, but how they dress every day. So let's say I remember once I went to Milan, the city center, Duomo. So there are like four mud chicks walking around all together, very stylish with their hats, with their cashmere on their body. Then they have like purple eyelashes, purple lipstick, purple earrings. Then they have something purple on their shirts, and their shoes also purple. So they really care about how their looks, and it's all toned down from the kids to the grown up. So in many countries they have this kind of I'll don't know how to say it, but it's like a DNA of every country. Good design style is always Italian. French is always their amazing cuisine, the language. If you go to maybe in sport, you go to Brazil, people know already there are great footballers coming there. So some countries they have their core DNAs that represent them. So that's one of the reason why I choose Italy to study.
So, am I right to say that for ARTWIST, in fact, you have induced Italian design, a flavor of Italian in all ARTWIST's apa ni, line items? Yeah.
Yeah. We try to implement as much. We try. Sometimes it's hard because it's small. So, but we try to give the best visuals to any product that we're going to launch.
Aku nak add
Okay.
sikit lah.
Yeah, Haris, go ahead.
Italian
Since,
quality Malaysian address.
Tak, sebab I mean I reckon what Bo cakap tadi, because coming back to cars, if you were to park a BMW 3 Series, 5 Series, whatever series it may be, side by side with Alfa Romeo, come a boy or a girl, they would go to Alfa Romeo and adore the car instead of a BMW, right?
Yeah. I tambah
Because of the
sikit.
design. The design itself is so appealing, it's so enticing, it's so attracting people to go. So now we know. In fact, the trade secret is in the mathematical calculation of the design itself.
Yeah.
Fibonacci model tadi you were
Yeah,
saying.
just to add, one of my mentors when I was in Italy, it's Alessandro Maccolini. He is now the chief designer of Alfa Romeo, if I'm not mistaken. So I had a session with him too. So he presented Alfa Romeo design DNA, how they design all this product. So one of the picture, like the inspiration for how the ship came, it came from a beautiful proportion of ladies. So yeah, and Italian ladies, obviously. So in all, that's why you see Alfa Romeo cars on the road. It's like you feel the sexiness is there, like it's elegance. It's really
So
yeah.
kan, yeah. So I mean I'm doing this gesture, but nasib baik Clubhouse tak nampak, but YouTube boleh nampak. But really the curve. Anyhow, Harith, you wanted to ask something tadi.
no, I want to add because like in my industry, it's always being the design. Italians memang one of the sought after design lah and designer. Japanese and all over the world we have like strong players in design. So when I first decided to do my own brand and work on our design, even our brands, so I have a thought of, if let's say, because a lot of designers at that time would always use local designers or around the world lah, because it's a trend, right? So they will always design something based on Scandinavian, based on Italian design, Japanese design. So for my thinking at that time was, okay, if I'm a buyer, a global buyer, I want to buy a Japanese design, who would I buy from? Obviously from the Japan lah, unless cost is an issue, then whoever is the cheapest. So if I want to buy Italian furniture, obviously I will be more inclined to buy from Italy. So that is when I feel like, okay, then and it's not my culture or my design. So that's why I feel like, okay, I want to make a brand that is me, which is a Malay. So that's why I use I do the brand Dapo. So at that time, a lot of people or the branding people will say like use English names and all that, but for me, okay, I want to use dapur. um and then like the design that we use, we study a lot, because if you talk about Italian apa, the design language, the system is there already, so you just have to absorb and utilize it. For Malay design, we don't have much of that. Even our identity, when we talk about identity and all that, they are there, but it's not being like formulated or put in a system where we can refer. It's very scattered, and there's a lot of people saying what this is Malay design or this is not, and those kind of things. So for me, it's about like I don't think about all that. I just focus on, okay, I'm a Malay, so I grew up. What is my reference? What do I grew up in, and all that. So we do a lot of our design currently. We focus a lot on Malay design, because if people want to buy something Malaysian or Malay, it's me, and I'm not taking anybody else's culture, right? Culture appropriation and all that. So that's why I focus on the Malay brand and the Malay design. But it's very difficult lah, because like some purists will say like you cannot do that. It's not mean something. But for me, it's I just forget about it and just do my stuff. And Alhamdulillah, we got good feedbacks on our things lah.
So the flavor of the most of the product line of the Green Factory pretty much focuses in our actual culture, Malaysian culture, yeah.
Basically Malay lah, because I have reference from my life, right? So I will use reference of my life. And when I wanted to do that, before that, the idea is I want to know about Malay design, because I don't learn at school. We all don't learn about Malay design and all that, right? Or Malaysian design or whatever lah. So I have to go to like museum and all that. So it's a fun experience. And at that time, I think like, because I don't learn at school, if I don't do anything about it, even my kids won't know my culture or heritage, right? So that is when I like, okay, I need to like at least absorb it and make a product. At least it become a story for my kids, and also for the global people who they want to know more about our culture. They are modern interpretation of the design and all that.
Talking about designing, I know Abang Amir, he has an eye for design. Dia very meticulous about design. You know, Abang Amir, hearing Bo cakap Artwist is pretty much inspired by the Italians, and Harith, the Green Factory, is really wanting to champion the Malay design orang Melayu kita. I mean, your train of thoughts. I mean, those either do we need to champion our local, and is it possible or viable to champion local design elsewhere, or it is a must to adopt and embrace the European culture, for example, bring it into Malaysia, make it into fusion ke apa, then riding or piggybacking on their design. What do you think?
I think designs are strictly cultural, and it also depends on items and what you want to produce, what you want to portray. Kalau macam Green Factory, I think designs are also dictated by the market, because I do know some Malaysian manufacturers who actually does Chinese or China design for Australian market. uh, I mean, why would Australia want to buy Chinese design furniture? But seriously, the market is there. And sama juga with Malaysians. I mean, some Malaysians, for, I don't know, maybe for art's sake or something, they prefer Italian designs. Italian furniture has been treated, I think, top of the line for most Malaysians who like to collect furniture. Betul kan, Rez? And I can tell,
Betul.
I can understand why, because the quality of the design is fantastic. Not only is beautiful, tetapi dia punya finishing tu.
The craftsmanship,
The craftsmanship, the finishing. I don't think anybody can beat the shine of a Italian table. I don't know what you call that. Berapa lapis dia taruh tu. And I think the other country that is moving towards that at one time was actually Vietnam. Have you seen how they lacquer their stuff? It's fantastic. beautiful. Where is
Vietnam
that?
memang dah overtake us dah. So that's
Okay.
why one of the reason I am pushing for design as well lah, because if we want to just focus on price, whoever have a
Yeah.
lower cost, then they will go there lah. And now
Yeah.
Vietnam, so a lot of money are going there, investment, so they are going
Yeah.
like crazy. I went
Yeah.
to their factory, just to share. The
Mm.
factories are so big, and like one of the factory, they also do not just bulk tau. If you want to buy one, is you want to design one, also they can make. So it's like
Yeah.
how crazy it
Yet
is there
they
lah.
are still more economical compared to Malaysia. Hence why they have overtaken Malaysia.
They are cheaper.
Yes,
Yep.
they are
They're
cheaper.
cheap.
However, having said that, there are countries like China, for example, and Japan. I love Japanese furniture, but it's not that popular in Malaysia. God knows why, but again, their quality is very high. Of course, at one time, China was only producing internally, and they were selling internationally for very high end production. Again, so I think it's really cultural and depending on the market lah. And I think Haris is quite right. You want to sell something, you have to find something which people want and design it. And right now, I think he's trying to create a demand for Malaysian type of products, which right now I think is selling quite well as well. Kita kena build a name for the Malaysian product, and that's I think where he's going to carry the flag for our country.
I
But going
think
back to
sorry,
sorry,
Abang, sorry.
I wanted to add going back to designs and Italian designs. I would love to see Bo punya side. Bo has been concentrating. I don't know. I see he's been concentrating only on the designs, which is fantastic. Italian design. Italians are very damn good in many designs, not only cars. We know the shoes, the leather stuff, everything lah. As long as it's craft, I think they do things very well. But uh, they also are very strong or were very strong in technology, especially the automotive technology. I don't know whether most watches can build on that type of drive to look for new technologies in watches, and actually make a name for Malaysia for doing it. I don't know, Bo. Is that something you're looking at? I hope you are. I'll be very interested to look at that.
Abang Min, so your question is like the recent case where our neighboring country
Uh-huh.
claim nasi lemak tu is theirs. They're using nasi lemak Malaysian and
I,
claiming it's theirs.
I don't
That,
think
that,
I don't think the Italians will come and claim, but who
I,
knows?
I,
Who
I,
knows?
I'm actually starting to feel that what we can have here is Team Bo and Team Harith, Team
Yep.
European and Team Asia, or Team Melayu, Team Italian, Team Melayu, Bo versus Harith. I'm picking up a question before Bo jawab about whatever question Abang Amir tadi tu. I'm picking up a question from a friend who is super shy to speak up in neither in Clubhouse nor in YouTube, but
Okay.
this is from Abdul Rahim. Abdul Rahim tanya, his question is, traditional Malay design is good. A question for Harith. What's your opinion, Harith?
Okay. So
We
just to
cannot hear you, Harith.
clarify. Oh,
You
okay.
are muted in Clubhouse.
Sorry. Just to
Just to
clarify,
clarify,
when I
when I
do
do
Malay
Malay
design,
design,
I
I
don't
don't
do
do
the
the
traditional
traditional
way
way
of
of
or
or
element
element
of
of
or the
or
way
the way
you
you
see
see
normally.
normally.
Normally
Normally
it's
it's
like a
like a
lot
lot
of
of
carvings
carvings
and
and
all
all
that.
that.
So I
So I
don't do
don't do
that.
that.
For
For
us,
us,
we
we
took
took
the
the
elements
elements
and
and
the
the
philosophy
philosophy
of
of
it,
it,
and
and
we
we
in a
in a
way
way
make it
make it
more
more
modern.
modern.
So
So
it's
it's
like
like
more
more
in a
in a
way
way
The craft part lah,
the
not the
craft
art
part,
part. The craft
yeah,
yeah,
part. Yeah.
but
but
it's
it's
like a
like a
toned
toned
down,
down,
a
a
watered
watered
version,
version
because
because
it's
it's
like
like
Abang Amir
Abang
said,
said,
is
is
to
to
cater
cater
to
to
our
our
customers,
customers,
and
and
our
our
customers a
customers a
lot
lot
are
are
moving
moving
towards
towards
that,
that,
so
so
we
we
cater
cater
to
to
that
that
demand.
demand.
But
But
like
like
just
just to,
during my
during my
research,
research,
what
what
overwhelmed
overwhelmed
me
me
is
is
that
that
we
we
have
have
so
so
much
much
beautiful
beautiful
design,
design,
so
so
much
much
culture
culture
that
that
we
we
don't
don't
know.
know.
We
We
only
only
see it
see
at
it at
museum,
museum,
and when
and when
people
people
go
go
see at
see at
museum,
museum,
and
and
then
then
That's
That's
just
just
it.
it.
It's
It's
not
not
everywhere.
everywhere.
We
We
only know
only know
batik
batik
because
because
batik
batik
and
and
songket,
songket,
or
or
those are
those are
some of
some
the
of the
things that
things
is
that is
popular,
popular,
right?
right?
But
But
there's
there's
so
so
many
many
more.
more.
Like
Like
we
we
have
have
like traditionally
traditionally
when
when
people
people
get
get
married,
married,
there's
there's
like
like
metal
metal
belt
belt
and
and
all
all
or
or
the
the
belt.
tekad. You don't forget about the tekad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
the
tekad.
tekad.
A
A
lot
lot
of
of
this
this
thing
thing
that
that
is
is
like
like
waiting
waiting
for
for
someone
someone
to
to
explore.
explore.
And we
And we
don't
don't
want
want
like
like
normally
normally
the
the
Westerner
Westerner
will
will
take
take
this
this
and
and
make it
make it
theirs
theirs
or
or
like
like
explore it.
explore it.
Like we
Like we
want
want
local
local
people to
people to
explore it
explore it
and
and
see the
see the
beauty of
beauty
it
of it
and see
and
how
see
it
how
can
it
be
can be
applied in
applied
a
in a
modern
modern
setting.
setting.
So
So
that
that
becomes like in time, with time. A lot of people are see our culture as something that is outdated and all that, but there are ways to revive it, and we want more people to experiment with it.
Okay, I hope that answers Abdul Rahim's question. Thank you, Abdul Rahim, for the question. Bo, you are so much into Italian design all the way until Artwist pun sekarang incorporate another flavor Italian design. I'm being devil's advocate here. Malaysian or the culture of Malay in Malaysia or any other culture in Malaysia, the design of our culture tak cukup bagus ke? Ain't it good enough for a global market?
Well, it's not about the question of not good enough. We have tremendous talent. We seen our ancestors or our datuk nenek moyang kita punya design. It's amazing. It's world class. Kalau you tengok rumah yang the old wooden house, the carvings, the ukiran, even the architecture. We not just talk about design per se, a product, because if you a product or transportation, if you look at Terengganu punya boat, for example, the carving is amazing, the shape, the proportion is very nice. Okay, I'm not saying on behalf of the European or Italian design is the only way to go,
Come
but my
on,
but
please.
my yeah, I do love Italian, of course, but my point is good design can translate in many forms and it should solve the problems. Number one, what is the main problem that design want to solve? Okay, I went to Green Factory a couple of days ago. Amazing product they are working on, and they come up with a new product that inspired by the Malaysian traditional inspiration, which is amazing. So it's not about questioning we should worship European design and what's not, but the important part here, what are there are good in certain things that we can borrow and we can adapt to our design and make us. So us come with our identity. Okay, I was born and raised in Malaysia, and many of us know that our DNA is very strong. We are quite famous with our songkit, with our craftsmanship, with our take a look at keris. Amazing design, beautiful design. I cannot ever think any other sword that has so much ukiran on that particular product. So but in order for the world to understand different types of cultural influence design, the world has spoken many languages. The world has understand different type of visual that they seen since they were born, and we can benchmark like a successful company like IKEA, for example, right? They come up with a minimalist kind of design because they understand like the world is super hard to adapt to many cultural differences, not just Malaysia, but many other parts of the world. It should be like a universal kind of design where that's what and when a product like right now nowadays, if not, Apple should come up with a product that is so cultural to American. It should look robust, it should look bigger like a muscle car, right? But they're not making that thing because they want to sell globally. So those kind of influence that care so much about tech inside. So that's the core thing that we are working at Artwist at this moment. We are going to work on the wearable tech objects coming future. That's part of our R&D, and that's where we want to go because when you do tech, you can solve many more problems, obviously, and you can make our life much more simpler. For example, and it can be anything. It can be furniture, even. It can be watches. It can be glass. It can be your toothbrush again. It can be cars. Maybe in the future you don't have to drive anymore. It's all tech. So the good thing about the Silicon Valley that we see here is that there are so much championing in solving people problems, billion-dollar problems, And that's where design, cultural come all together. And sometimes it's super hard to tell, is this a Japanese design, or is this a Sweden design? Is this a Korean design, Malaysian design? So the future of the world relies so much on making worlds better place, design playing role in slightly different ways. So if we really go for like a really niche kind of design where we want to promote our culture or all those kind of stuff, that was the best. It can be in niche, it can be premium, and there are a lot of good companies is doing that thing also. Like Selangor Filter is doing that, amazing. So
I,
um,
I like how you are upselling Artwist.
thank you.
uh, Very subtly. Sikit-sikit dia upsell Artwist dia. Harith, you need to find this opportunity. By the way, I'm just reading some live chat in our YouTube live stream, referring to Artwist video teaser earlier from Muhammad Izairi Yamin. He said, "Fu, nice video teaser." Then Wesley Danker, sorry, not Wanker. Wesley Danker showed 2 thumbs up. Yeah, nice video teaser. Then lepas tu dia upsell lagi dekat Clubhouse. Anyhow, it's very good. But coming back to your sharing your journey of entrepreneurship, your interesting story, Bo and Harith. I do have a question later, also a topic that I wanted to bring out because you guys are into expanding your business globally. And you were saying, Malaysian products or Malaysian design per se is very much valid for the global market. Yep. Keyword here, what I wanted to highlight later is Jago Kampung. Okay, no but Jago Kampung. But before that, we'll take another breather. When now I did mention about Muhammad Izari Yamin punya astonishment of Artwist teaser video. We will now in YouTube live stream play the Green Factory teaser video. So unfortunately for those in Clubhouse, you guys are not able to watch it now, but you guys can watch it and have a recap session later in Pixel Play Ventures YouTube channel, where this session is currently live stream. We will take a 1 minute breather for a technical toilet break. Nak minum air ke apa? Go ahead guys. We shall play in Pixel Play Ventures YouTube channel. Harith Green Carpenter's video now. Rainbow, that's your cue. With your story, Bo, how you actually manufactured your own skateboard at the age of 11, and Harith, you were like dumpster jumping back then. I wonder if you have gotten some inspiration on Green Factory's line item design from the dumpster. Ada ke?
Your dumpster is the Roro kan?
Ro.
Okay, okay.
So biasa memang they like dump it all there, right?
Iya memang.
But now dah tak ada tau. Now it's quite like rare, and now all the pallets pun the value dah high tau. Because you see
Yeah.
everyone doing it tau. Like so
Yes.
crazy. But last time not that many people, but now it's like so many people.
I think
Okay, the video is done. Sorry, Abami, to cut you short.
no problem, no problem.
Yeah, welcome back, everybody. We have about half an hour to go. Thank you for those who have just joined us in Clubhouse. We are at chapter 4 of PPV's Entrepreneurship Founder Stories series. Together with us tonight, sharing their interesting entrepreneurship journey, we have Harith from the Green Factory, as well as Bo from Artwist. And those who are watching our YouTube channel live, where our current Clubhouse session is streamed live in YouTube. You just had the basically the honors to view a teaser video from the Green Factory. Oh, it is a very good upsell for the Green Factory. And a reminder to our listeners in Clubhouse, please do not be shy. Should you have any remarks to share, questions, or you would like to share your experience, just press on the palm icon at the bottom of your screen. Our moderators will then put you up as a speaker, and we'll let you speak. Speaking of the devil, as I was saying that someone wanted to speak in Clubhouse, Bala. Yes, let's get on to it. Hi, Bala. You can now
Yes,
speak.
one second.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Boleh, boleh. Yes, we can hear you
Can you
loud and
hear
clear.
me,
Yes.
Cheryl? Yeah, great. Oh,
Go
by
ahead.
1 second, 1 second. Okay. Hey, Cheryl, all of you guys,
Mm-hmm.
Cheryl and Harith in particular. And this, Harith, I've got a few questions. Have you thought of knockdown furniture, or that doesn't fit in with your business model?
You said a few. You want to finish
I'll
a
ask
few or
again.
what?
I think it's Harith who's doing the green furniture,
Yeah.
right? Have you
Yeah.
thought of doing?
Sorry, Bala, we lost you there. Can you
Hello.
repeat your question?
Can you hear me?
No,
I heard the
we lost you
Can
a
you
question.
little
hear me?
bit. But can you repeat the question again?
Sure, sure. Have you thought of doing like what IKEA does, knock down furniture for, let's say, the poorest people? I mean, even they, even the not poorest. I mean, let's say the bottom of the pyramid, yeah, or close to the bottom of the pyramid. They may buy. I mean, many of them don't spend much money, but they'll spend some money on good stuff. And I think I'm optimistic that the coming generation would spend more on that.
Okay.
So just wondering if that's in your suite of products, as in knockdown,
IKEA.
like IKEA,
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So
Is that
IKEA, but
your only
IKEA with
question, Bala? Or you have a set of questions?
did you hear my question?
Dengar. We were able to hear a
yeah.
question. Actually, was that your only question or you have other questions as well?
Oh, I see. Okay. The other thing is, um, I'm more in, for how old I am, I'm going to be moving to Central Java near, it's called Temanggung, right? And there I see a lot of very artist inclined people. I mean, I think that the bottom line is Indonesia has got so many more people, so they've not been urbanized and modernized and middle class as much as Malaysia. And this particular area, because it's not far from Borobudur and some of the old heritage places, still has got a lot of artists, because presumably going down from history, right? I mean, like, they don't have any issues with patongs, for example. Yeah, if I may be just straightforward, guys, don't mind me. Yeah, they
No,
don't have
go
any
ahead.
issues.
Go ahead. No holds
Yeah.
barred, Bala. Go ahead. We are good to go.
Okay, thank you. Right. I mean, when you go to Indonesia and stuff, they, and bottom line is, they're individuals. They have to make a living, and if their father and their grandfather and the place they are, the only jobs they are is to be sculptors. They sculpt, right? And if the only people who are buying the sculptures are from, or a good portion of them are buying it from India, they'll sculpt whatever the Indians want. Yeah, um, that's what they do. So, but I quite clearly saw a good enough of an ecosystem of all that goes into producing artistic, functional stuff, right? For example, just even behind my house, there's a guy who does furniture work. So he did some for a while there, and then he went to Jayapura in Papua because the prices that he got for the furniture he's making like household furniture, yeah, was better. So he was there for a while, and then he came back. So I'm going to be moving there. I like the place, the people are just lots more honest, and I really am looking forward to that. Open and honest, very casual, kind of like kampongs and the village I was born in Batang Benar, you know.
Ah, okay. Cool.
Yeah, were, but things have changed a lot, and I've had enough of dealing with. I won't go into that. Yeah.
No worries.
Um,
Okay. Bala, if I
so
may ask, what's your profession? I mean, are you a manufacturer yourself?
no, I'm big in the online world, so I know the ins and outs of supply chains within the online world. Mostly my background is in banking and media, right? I used to work for Reuters, and then Before that, DBS Bank in Singapore. And since then, for the most part, I started the internet scene in Malaysia. I own Malaysia.net, Indonesia.net, and Tamil.net, and all that. And started with Sang Kanchil after Reuters. Couldn't raise capital and all that. It was a struggle, but I'm back doing that again. If you'll see my Quora link, Quora.com, Quora link on my profile page, on my Clubhouse profile page. Do check it out, right? Because I'm particularly interested in, let's call it reality research. And one of the huge plus sides of my journey, uh, of me falling down and being whacked, right down to the bottom, was every time I get a jolt, right? I get, I'm a big, the depth of my thinking gets good, and I come out with even more clarity. So I have got quite a following in Indonesia, right? On Quora.com. So you can see what you can see what I write there. For example, for, I figured out one of the things is the main thing I'm doing now is making happen crypto villages, right? Villages. If the first village ever in human history were to be founded soon, what should it feel like? What should it look like? Given that we've got all this technology, remote technology, and drone technology, what other roles other than farming can happen in a village? Yeah. And my sensing was in Malaysia, I still have a farm, but somebody else operates it in Teluk Intan, right? My family from my family, yeah. We've been in the rubber plantation, rubber and then oil palm of late, yeah, for a while. So I've been to the villages, but mostly they've been hollowed out, right? Most of our kampongs, I my sensing of it is I'm obviously not been to enough of them. For example, not much in the East Coast, but in the West Coast, mostly the kind of places we were brought up in. I was born and brought up in, don't exist anymore, right? They exist. They've got hardly anybody there.
This
There
is
you are.
interesting, but
Ask away.
sorry, brother, if I may
Was that
interject, it's
you?
pretty much interesting for you to actually participate, and we take note of your question. Perhaps for next session, every we have this session every Saturday. The whole point of having this session is about sharing their journey of entrepreneurship. And like I
Okay.
mentioned in the earlier part of this session, rather than hearing the nice stories, the true, very colorful, very sunny day things of stories, no, we rather have uh, our speakers or our participants to share their fallouts, their challenges, and
Yep.
the lesson learned, so that they can share. Perhaps, I would really love for you to join us next week and the following weeks, where we will have our additional two startups to participate and give you more room to actually share with us your experience. That would be
Yeah.
great. But
Yeah.
I do take note on your question, and
Okay.
sorry, I just had to do this because in YouTube, there is a live comment saying panjangnya soalan. It's like
Oh.
it's so
Okay.
funny.
Okay. Oh, carry
So
on.
but
Carry on.
never
Do
mind.
that.
But the
Between me and
question
Gurung.
well noted, and yes, let's hear it from you again, perhaps next week, Bala. All right.
Okay. Sure.
I
Excellent.
will
No
let
problems.
Harith to answer your question. And Harith, to reiterate what Bala asked was, have you thought of doing a knockdown furnitures as compared to IKEA, for example? Is it part of your business model? Go ahead, Harith. Bala, thank you so much for your question. Yeah,
Thank you. Makasih. Yeah.
sama-sama.
So the question is flat pack, right? So we are looking into it. In fact, next year we are gonna start having more knockdown. So it not necessarily mean it's cheap, because for us it's about the quality, it's about the material, longevity, and all that. But just to touch on the point of affordability, because like this is something that is I'm passionate about, meaning like sustainability. When you talk about green product, it's always expensive, right? our people will say it's premium. There's a premium to it. That is the standard perception. But there's actually a lot of ways to make green products cheaper, and we do need to make green products cheaper. So that's why in terms of my case, we do have some products that we use our offcuts. So there's no cost to it. The material cost is being paid by the products that we made. So there's only like a labor cost, and that is when we transfer the saving of the material to our customer. So because we believe that green products should be accessible to all, and we have now we have a lot of products that is under 25 ringgit, so even people can buy all these small items, so it's accessible. But we cannot get to the scale of IKEA, because if you want to go for price, it's all about scale, and we don't have like that much of a facility, that big of a facility or manpower to produce that kind of volume, and it's not our intention to go there. There's a lot of people that does that and it works well for them, but for us, we want to focus more on the durability of the product, the quality and the design, because we find like if you want to find cheap product, there's a lot of alternative. People go to IKEA, people go to like, there's a lot lah, but like good quality uh, local design and brand is quite limited, so we want to cater to that niche lah.
Okay, good. And we still have Bala again. You nak tambah apa Bala?
Just wanted to add, Amir wanted to combine what, I think it's pretty cool that you are running Clubhouse and YouTube streaming in parallel. So if I were to combine this notion where China is famous for doing really well on live streamed auctions. And I think, the experience of buying is as important as the product, Harith, right? So I think if you should at least test it out, right? Of having art, think of it as like, or in a way, collect in some form, if you can think of some of your, because people see other people bidding for particular furniture, and it doesn't have to be expensive, it can be, but there's some fun in bidding and buying. I think you should at least experiment with it. I mean, what I'm saying is, just so you are clear, auctioning anything that has got an aesthetic element to it, especially, I think, right? So furniture is one, and Malay, classical Malay carvings or decorations or motifs on them, right? On YouTube, live stream auction them. I'm done. Oh, back to you. Thank you a lot.
Cool.
Thank you,
Can be
Bala. Thank you,
explored.
Bala, for the appreciation on our initiative and our digital platform. Yes, our weekly Clubhouse is being streamed live in YouTube channel. And for your information, Bala, please do spread these words. I hope you have subscribed to our Peaceable Adventures channel and like our videos. You may as well recap these 2 hour content as well as the previous week's 2 hours content, and it is a service provided by one of our Pixel Play Universe company called Pixel Play Avanta. If you need to to have such services, we can render. Please feel free to spread the words, but of course tak FOC lah, it's chargeable lah kan. Eventually it's business, but we can help you out. But yes, it's a good idea to do auction via Clubhouse as well, being streamed live in YouTube. Thank you Bala so much. Coming back to Harith and
Auction ni kena tanya Bo.
tu abang cakap abang tadi. So I was thinking, and
auction.
since yeah. Siapa cakap tadi? Sorry, anybody said something? Abang Ami?
No, I heard Bala was Bala's voice.
Yeah, I think it was Bala's voice tadi. Nak cakap kat Abang Ami kot pasal streaming semua ni. But I have actually interjected and counter promo Pixel Play Avanta. So Pixel Play Bala for information, and the rest of the Clubhouse listeners, as well as the rest of you guys who are watching YouTube live, Pixel Play does provide such service for you to run Clubhouse in concurrent, do live streaming in YouTube. Okay? And talking about auction, thank you Bala for the idea. Excellent idea. I was even thinking as he was speaking, perhaps I don't know, Bo, Harith, you guys can kick it off be the first mover, do an online live stream auction, ARTWIST line items, novelty watches, limited edition, and Harris's, explicit and novelty reusable or recycled material, and put it on auction. What do you think? Is it a good business model to do that?
Bobo.
And does it work locally and as well as to actually expand your business and spread your wings wider in the region at the very least?
I thought Bo has already done it. He's done a couple already, and the next one is Tun Mahathir punya kan, Bo?
Yeah,
Yes.
for
Yes.
artists,
I-
we have basically currently we are working on two new ideas in promoting and selling our watches. Number one is the auctioning, whereby since our watches are limited edition, everything is numbered on the case
Yeah,
bag. So the numbers is going to be very
unique.
vital to the collectors, and each number means something to them maybe. So there are a lot of values in auctioning them according to the demand. So for the most part, we are going to auction like Tun Mahathir watches number 02 to number 010. Number 01 belong to Tun Mahathir. So we're going to auction soon in collaboration with uh, Tun Mahathir Yayasan Perdana Leaderships, and that's number one for those. And we're going to do the same for the rest of the collaborative watches. And secondly, now we are moving to NFT world, whereby the art watches, we are combining the digital and the physical all together. So the future will be now the NFT is booming. You know, the art people are selling, and digital art is becoming something more valuable and easy to be owned because of the blockchain technology. So we are partnering this combination, this marriage, digital, wherever the consumer buy the digital arts, and they will get the physical too. So we believe a lot in human experience simply because we are human beings, we are human creatures. We love to touch on things that can be whole, tangible products. So that's how we are moving forward for the future, for the rest of the art watches. And that's the technology part that we are growing at this moment.
Cool. Nice to know. Any particular date when you'll be having this auction?
We are still waiting for the Yayasan Perdana Leadership to give us the right dates, because they are going to help also with the auctioning, since they have a lot of database. You know, they have their corporates and sort of stuff. So it's best to show to the people who already have interest in these watches and really love Tun Mahathir's leadership and kind of stuff. So it's coming soon.
Look forward. Look forward. Nice to hear. And hashtag, should you need to live stream, you know who to look for, yeah? Coming.
Sure.
All right, we have about 10 minutes to go. I did mention earlier there's a topic that I wanted to bring up to both Boss Tami and Haris, and also for our discussion. I did mention the word Jago Kampung. We were talking about global expansion. Bo and Hari was talking about spreading their wings to US, to UK, for example. And based on your personal experience, your hardship, Bo, anak Felda Jengke Pahang, went to Italy, cari duit nak beli tiket through selling kuih raya, you know went there, came back.
Boleh buat
Haris,
movie, boleh buat movie you.
nah, itu Bron dah senyum dah, but itu cerita lain, itu tak apa. Macam Haris, you started off being a child labor, paksa rela by the parents, then sampai you had to be a dumpster diver. You got inspired to actually champion our Malay culture in terms of furniture manufacturing, and you're also looking into expanding globally. You are already in the UK, right? So when I mentioned the word Jago Kampung, perhaps you guys have the best validation point to share with the rest of the founders out there, with the rest of Malaysian entrepreneurs out there who wish to be inspired by your journey. Most of them, my take is humility is everything. You know, don't this is personal from me. If you have not seen the world, you have not seen the world, and you don't see your own potential. Most of our entrepreneurs are still within Semenanjung Malaysia. They have not even been to Sabah and Sarawak for that matter. But for example, Bo, you've been to the US, Haris, you've been to the UK. You need to go there. The world is really huge, and you are just a tiny pea, in Malaysia. And again, the keyword humility. Share with us your train of thoughts in terms of Jago Kampung, being an entrepreneur in Malaysia. If they were to expand their business, what are your advice based on experience and your challenges, the hard fall, etc. Okay, can I start with Haris first?
I
They think
think
they are good, but then again, okay, no holds barred.
actually a lot of Malaysian business are good. Like this past, just to share preview lah before we go into the ni. Last time we need the government to do a campaign belilah bangan buatan Malaysia, right? So there
Mhm.
needs to be a campaign because there's a lot of negative perception of Malaysian product, quality, design, blah 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 blah. But now you are seeing a lot of people want to buy local products because why? Because there's a perception that it's better now. It's in good quality. The service is good. I think a part of it, internet plays a big part of it, where we have a lot of reference, international reference. So we have Instagram, we have Pinterest, we have all this reference on how to do nice things, and at least our generation sees that okay, in order for us to compete, or we have this ambition, we want to have this kind of product, this kind of branding and all that. So the quality of, not just the quality of entrepreneur, but products and design and service is a lot better, and now we have a lot of support. In term of expansion, international expansion, for me it's I got inspired when I go to international exhibition. So I'm lucky to be working, been chosen to work a lot with Matrade, with Malaysian Timber Board and all that, to join this exhibition, to exhibit, or to see how international or global companies are doing it. And when I go there, and I think within these few years I've been to like 15 country, and I've seen like um the products that they do, like the way they present it, the way they like design and workmanship, and it triggers me like I can do this. I mean, like sometimes we have this problem of self-esteem. We think like everything outside is better, and but when I see it, it's like I can achieve this kind of workmanship, I can achieve this kind of design and all that. So that is what fires me, and like I want to prove something, like I want to prove that uh, 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 because just to share a little bit, my industry is predominantly dominated by the Chinese. So these
Okay.
are all the big players and all that. So Malay companies are normally very small, caters to very niche, which is government projects and all that. So for me, it's an ambition that I want to be able to play in the big league, and that is what until now is that fire, that because I don't see any reference. There's no Malaysian brand is one. If when you talk about Malay, there's no Malay like entrepreneurs that has done it to a level that we can be proud of, or be an icon for the industry.
Sorry, is it because some sort of inferiority complex?
That is one thing, and that is one of the things right now where when I give talk, not just to Malay, to everyone lah, Malaysian, we have this inferiority complex, so we have to like have the confidence to at least try. So then if you try as hard as you can and then you still cannot do it, then it's me. But if you don't try, then you wouldn't know, and it will just be like what you say lah, you're only comfortable in Malaysia, right? Because like this is where you thrive. But if you were put into the sea, can you survive? So we need to like at least have some confidence in ourselves lah. Yeah,
Bo,
I'm
what
done.
say you?
Well, Haris said it well, very well, and I'm 100% agree with Haris. But for me, I just want to add a bit in the perspective of being an entrepreneur, and try to bring the business globally. So the way I see things, whenever I travel, whenever I see big businesses is doing, um, and whenever we try to do what they do, um, actually it's pretty much a very clear sense that you can replicate whatever the big brands is doing, how they present their products, how they put their brands, how they put their logos, what kind of customer reply, customer experience that they give. It's already there. You can test, you can try or pretend to buy, you can replicate whatever they are doing. But for me, going global, it's another huge amount of challenge whereby for Artwist, we are small startups. You know, we are like five people working around. We are so much in love with what we do. We love designing. We love making watches. We love collaborating with all these influential figures. But for me, the core things, as if you intended to build a company and really want to go global, is that you have to really take care of your team. I think that's the number one core thing, that how you can move forward. And I am thankful, based on my first failure in startup, where my first startup it's uh, blew up just like that in just a year. But then I was super thankful that I have a super talented team. You know, I have Zakia as a innovative design, where she come up with all those crazy ideas, what we need to do, what's next, what's the future, what kind of design direction. Then I am also super grateful that I have Harry in our team, whereby I am personally very introvert person. I am super shy, and I cannot believe I'm still talking right now in English. And Harry was like the other side of me, and he was like, "Hey Harry, I really wanted to do some legendary rock band watches collaboration," and I asked him, and he said, "Okay, bro, give me 2 days." And 2 days later, he said, "Eh, Bo, Awi nak jumpa." I was like, "You serious? Like, how come you can contact Awi and
Yeah.
present it on behalf of Artwist?" And suddenly, we do the wings watches, and later I said, like, "Hey, Harry, we should celebrate the negarawan. You know, the negarawan in Malaysia, it should be the Prime Minister." And just 5 days later, hey, Arkib Negara is interested in have a meeting with us with the KP. I was like, so team is super important in growing and scaling, and that's the quality that I'm looking forward to. If we ever go to the USA, we need a partners who really love us, who really understand at the core heart what we do. We are doing things that it niche, it's rare. We are not like a typical watch company. So those are the elements and key personalities that we are looking forward, that all these people can make us a global brand in the future. It doesn't matter wherever country we go, we really need all these kind of qualities in our team, and I look forward to go global, to bring our Malaysian brand successful in the media. Thank you.
Very good. Very, very positive answers from both Bo as well as Harith. You know, first, humility. Number two, you must have confidence, not being inferior or afraid of the Europeans, for example. And third, you should have a very good team, trustworthy team to go together, right? I mean, both of you have had a different flavor of external challenges. Harith is in his industry, which is more going against the Chinese, whereby Bo, in his particular sector, you are going against the Italians or the Swiss. You know, they are typically, white, not white, sorry, blue-eyed people syndrome. You know, Mak Saleh kan? Orang Melayu kita ni, Mak Saleh je simply because they are way physically bigger than us. They speak a more fluent English. People tend to trust them. People tend to be inferior in front of them. Whereby sebenarnya we are all equal. We have two hands, two set of hands, two pair of legs. Ada brain satu. We got a lot of talent in Malaysia. You guys made it. You are now, what I heard recently, you are inshallah going to collaborate with Morgan Freeman, yeah? So Artwist, inshallah, will collaborate with Morgan Freeman.
Amin.
Alhamdulillah. Well done. Inshallah, I pray
Amin,
for your
amin,
success.
amin.
Amin. Morgan
No, we
Hollywood, bro.
mentors that have connection with Morgan Freeman. So we
Oh,
ask him
inshallah.
to, so
Bron pun tak ada peluang nak berlakon dengan Morgan Freeman lagi, Bron.
no, we go together. If you do Morgan Freeman or Pixel Play or cohort, we go together meet him. Just pray. Yeah.
You pay for our flight tickets, and our lodging. Thank you,
Yeah,
bro. Thank you,
yeah.
Artwist.
We can pay the meals.
Aduh.
Sharol, hi.
Yes. Yeah, we got Farah here. Sorry, terlepas pandang tadi. Yes, Farah. Hi, Farah. Good evening.
Hi.
Yes.
Good evening. Sorry I came in a bit late. I know Yasin have invited me, but I've been doing something. But I've been listening on the side.
No worries.
It's great listening to you all. I listened. I actually paid more attention to the final parts of what you were saying, like when you were wrapping up, and I think you said three main points just now. If I can just add on final points to what this entrepreneurs can do or aspire, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're in Malaysia, we are not short of great and talented entrepreneurs. I think we have had so many names outside there who has made it, and we are some kind of proud of them, right? So what I wish is that when these entrepreneurs has made it and then they have go big, go global, I wish that they will take time to give back. Bukan in terms of give back like in terms of money or anything. It's just like I wish that they will become more approachable to new entrepreneurs, and because they have made it, and these new entrepreneurs would want to have a chance to be able to get to
Pay
know
it forward.
them. Yeah,
Yeah,
pay it
to be able
forward,
to pay it forward. Yeah.
or pay it back in terms like you know how Silicon Valley community has made it great, because all the super angels were entrepreneurs before, and they always, like, even if they have made their first exit, they already paid back. They start investing, they start to put in their experiences into new startups, and they are not short of advices to these entrepreneurs though, so they make themselves available. So kadang-kadang when people has dah jadi superstar ni, kita dah rasa macam, oh lemak, macam mana nak jumpa dia orang kan, macam mana I wish I can meet these guys, padahal our punya homegrown entrepreneur. So I wish like one day we can create a community like Silicon Valley, where they are not short of money, of course, but they are also not short of the availability to be able to availability of platforms that these people can just tap into, right? If it even if it's not them directly, they have made it open for other people to just they have trained people, and somehow the knowledge sharing tu tak short, macam
Push lah.
tak
Push,
close
push.
off lah
Yeah.
kan. So macam I wish that happen in Malaysia, because selalunya bila semua orang dah gempak-gempak, dah jadi superstar, macam alamak, say for example macam Anthony kan. So for those who doesn't know him, like, alamak, I don't know lah, boleh ke I jumpa Anthony, padahal mungkin dia biasa je, but we made it in such a way that they are not available, right? So what if we are able to create like the kind of community macam Silicon Valley. I wish that to happen lah. So macam, yes, we entrepreneurs, I wish you guys already gone like internationally, you have made it. I think Green Factory, memang from what I've heard from them and Artwist, like you have going through leaps and bounds kan. So macam I hope like you can also take time to contribute back to the other entrepreneurs. That
Farah,
is, yeah.
jangan risau, we got the home address. They'll be back as our future mentors.
Nice. Have
By
them
the way,
sign up with you like 10 years pun.
habis 9 minggu je kena sign. Diorang tak tahu tu. Ada sign tu. By
Ada
the way,
fine prints kan.
yes. By the way, for the benefit of our Clubhouse listeners as well as our YouTube viewers, Farah Wahida Rafiq is one of our mentor for GMP USA Cohort 1. She was ex Cradle Seed Ventures. She has been very much active in the startup ecosystem of Malaysia. Dah lah startup ecosystem kat Malaysia ni tak berapa nak mature sangat. Right, Farah? So, satu. But she has been very much active in the ecosystem. She left the industry, but however she left the industry, she really she wishes to still be part of industry. Hence, we are working together, and why she's currently part of the mentor of GMP USA Cohort 1. And she's mentoring the likes of Harith, Bo, and the other 8 startups in GMP USA Cohort 1. Thank you, Farah, for your remarks. Ingat tadi
Oh,
dah
that's
Thank you,
like
Kak Farah.
Thank you,
too
thank
much.
you.
That's too much. I think
Nak
I
tambah
just
sikit,
want
nak
to.
tambah.
Hari
Yeah.
apa dia?
Tak ada. First, Syarul, kau jangan letak words in my mouth I'm not going against the Chinese ke apa
No, I never say that. I never
No,
say
no,
that.
no. Right now it's
Eh,
more
Balik YouTube live streaming. Tengok balik. Tak
actually,
ada.
there's
tak
so
ada.
much that you can learn from them.
Correct.
They
So sebab tu
yeah.
I cakap it's not against. Now right now I want all of us to compete globally. So we work together, and I have a lot of suppliers, and I work with a lot of Chinese. So don't put that. So tapi that is not the I want to say. What I want to say is on how we can move the industry or Malaysia in the future. How Malaysia can be more competitive in the future. Right now I'm just going to tell you a story just on my industry. For example, when we talk about manufacturing, so we used to be very strong, but right now slowly more people are moving ahead of us because we don't change, because we think that it works and it should work in a very long term. So right now the government are seeing like, okay, if we focus on OEM, if someone somewhere else is cheaper, they will go there. So Vietnam is the proof lah. So right now people the government are trying to see how they can use design as a way to bring Malaysia to be more competitive. But my issue with that is, first, when you talk about designer, we are not short of designer. Our designer are very good. We have maybe better than our neighboring country. It's not the issue of the designer, but the issue is the industry. If you see like Indonesia, Philippines, they have a lot of support. One, they have support from the government, meaning like they give designers money so they can exhibit, they can be get external exposure and all that. Second, the industry employs them, so they have experience in the industry. So in Malaysia, even though our designers are good, we don't have much support, one from the government and two from the industry. Like the industry wants to just get from Italian designer and all that, external designer, right? So so the issue comes if we were to use design. If you want to use design, we are very early stage. Our neighbors, Thailand, they are way ahead of us, and you want to compete in a manner where you just came in the scene using design, we're gonna lose. So what I'm proposing is for Malaysia to use both. You use design and sustainability. Why? Because in Southeast Asia, there's not much country that is focusing on sustainability. So we can be the champion of sustainability in this part of the world. So if let's say um, uh, um, the world, like let's say Europe wants to source for something in Southeast Asia, so they know that, okay, if I go to Malaysia, it might not be the cheapest, but it's well designed, and second, it's sustainable. So we can have that first step or first mover advantage. And within this in the next few years, the green wave is going to come to our shore as well. So and during that time, like all these countries going to like do this, like focus on green and all that. Right now there are some movement around this, but nobody is leading it, nobody is heading it. So we need to be at least one step ahead. So when everyone wants to do it, you can do the next step and all that, so we can lead. This is the opportunity where we can actually lead. We have always been followers. So right now that is the same for all other industries as well, and that is one of the movement that I'm trying to promote right now, is how our industries, we can make Malaysia a hub for sustainable design and manufacturing. But it needs the buy-in now, which is we need to do it now. And that is right now, we want more people to talk about it. And that's for me lah.
Thank you, Harith. Thank you for bringing this out. And soalan bocor sikit. Next week, kita ada matrik tau. So, come back next week. You will definitely be back next week and raise the same issue, the same concern, and, you know, your proposed solution so that they would hear us out. Yep. We are actually past 11 p.m. It's a 2-hour session. Sorry, Bron, Abang Amir, any last few words from you before I go to Bo and Harith for their last few words? Bron, kat tangan ada ke tak ada tu? Orang Clubhouse tak nampak kat
Nothing.
tangan. Kat YouTube je nampak.
I I wanted to ask more on the operation and things like that, but then masa mencemburui kita, we didn't get to have a deep dive into the business side of the operations. So we save it for some other time lah. So kudos and how would people how can people reach out to you? Is there any place where perhaps ada yang tengah dengar apa semua and they will love to have a look at ARTWIST products or maybe Dapur? Any of you can share where can your
We will let
potential
them
customers
do a bit of promo before they leave, before we actually end the session later. Both Artist and Green Carpenter and Green Factory. Sorry. Thank you, Bron. Abang Amir? Abang Amir, you are muted in Clubhouse.
Sorry.
Okay.
Just to say both Bo dengan Haris, actually you are both prime to be a more than jago kampung lah for us. Okay, both of you got opportunity, I think, potential to lead the way for Malaysians to make a mark globally with what you're doing now and what you could do in the future. All right, good luck then.
Thank you, Abang Amir.
Thank you,
And
Abang
to
Amir.
echo Farah tadi, rest assured, and those who, for me, I know Bo and Haris personally. These guys are pretty much very humble people, despite them having already expanded their respective business beyond Malaysia. And for those who are watching in YouTube, you can view their faces now. Haris dengan Bo, a simple guy, anak jengkel Pahang, orang yang pernah lompat dumpster apa semua, relax je kan. They are whenever they tell their story, it's very honest and you see the passion. They will both share the same passion of design, for example, and sharing their train of thoughts, train of experience. And these are the values of talent capital, Farah sebenarnya. What I meant was talent capital in Malaysia, to inspire others, pay it forward, and we create more local champion. Before we end, I will start with Bo. Please share with us, just to echo apa Bro cakap tadi, if people wanted to reach out to ARTWIST, to know more about you do, and to collaborate with you perhaps, mana tahu dapat, if not Morgan Freeman, maybe dapat Obama ke, I don't know. Go ahead, share with us quickly in 1 or 2 minutes time. Max 1
Okay.
minute. Okay.
All right. So basically, we at ARTWIST, we design limited edition watches. We collaborate with many partners across the world. We start with emerging artists because we want to help them to get their arts to the world in a premium merchandise. But then we also open up for corporate orders in a sense of if the company want to build their watches for their companies as a brand, as a premium product. So we can do that too because we are a design house. We've been able to fulfill your premium and quality product. So just to add a bit about us, you can go to our website www.artwist.co or follow us on Instagram artwist.co or Facebook artwist.co is all the same. And then what my last word will be, since this is entrepreneurship session, I just want to say that for all entrepreneurs out there who really wanted to venture into businesses, don't fall the trap of looking at entrepreneur is a cool thing. You have to really know yourself first because this is not for everybody. And first rule that we follow is that you have to love what you do. That's number one. So in any sense, you have to love the company you're going to build because whenever you have difficulties, then you will not fall back, okay, because you love it. And then for Artwist in the future, we have a vision that we are going global. We are going to USA for sure. We have now talked to multiple partnerships in art galleries, in the legendaries over there. There's a bunch of them. Then we will talk to them. And for the next,
Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman. Betul.
one of our mentors has connection with Morgan Freeman and many more actually for the celebrities. So we are going looking forward. But as Artwist future, we are going for tech and we are going to vision ourselves as big as sending our watches to Mars or collaboration with Obama. So everything that we do, we want to inspire others, even though it's a watches, but basically we are in for a story. We are in for the intimacy of the person that we are going to collaborate. We are going to, yeah, help make a living more fun rather than just being sad. So that's about it.
Thank you both. Thank you so much for the upselling of Artwist. Again, if you need to reach out to Artwist, you can go to www.artwist.com. How you spell it?
Cool.
ARTWIST. Artwist.co. Co. Sorry. So www.artwist.co. Instagram artwist.co. Facebook artwist.co. Okay. Thank you so much. Going into
Carol,
hard. Yes, yeah, Farah.
if I may interject, I dah remember, not pay back, is give back to society. Give back to the community.
Give back, pay it forward, sama je Farah.
Yeah. No, it's like, because, yeah, Harriet and Bostami, remember that, like, pay back, give back, like, your, in the future, whatever that you're doing, your experiences are invaluable. So remember that. And and every little things that you said to new entrepreneurs will make a difference, I think. Okay, that's all.
Thank you for the inspirational words Farah, and macam stern reminder, it's like macam kakak senior remind adik-adik, kau make sure kau share dengan budak-budak ni esok tau. Dah berjaya tu jangan lupa daratan. Right? Itu dalam
Yeah,
dah
sort of like that.
sort of like that. Thank you Farah. Okay,
Okay.
Harith, over to you Harith, some last few words about Green Factory.
Hmm. So just Kak Farah, just to on top of that, like this, that's why these past few years, since we've seen like how sustainability has benefited us, not just about the environment but also the bottom line, like our margins, our profit, and the way we do business and all that. And that is why we have taken up more a role of activism, where we talk to students, to industry people, and all that, where we educate, we teach. And now we have like the Green Factor show, where we talk to interesting people on how designers and businesses can use design and sustainability to differentiate themselves. And I do believe that. And another part that I want to talk is about collaboration. And just to share with you, I inshallah will be collaborating with Artwist on certain project.
Yeah.
um, and and I do believe that we should leverage on each other. Right now is the age where we work together. Last time it used to be about like one person doing everything, like one company doing everything. Right now we can't afford to do that. We need to be lean and we need to work with each other. And parting words is about sustainability. If you're a business, try to look into sustainability because it's such a big world and there's a lot to explore. So it's very exciting. Blue ocean, because if not, you'll be competing with a lot of everyone else. Right now, because we were from this market where it's so saturated, and when we adopt sustainability, right now we are one of the player of our scale. So from competing to a lot to almost no competition. So it does well for us. So do look into sustainability as one of your competitive advantage. As for me, I'm active on LinkedIn. You can find me on Haris Green Carpenter. I'm active a lot there, but also Facebook and Instagram as well, the same Haris Green Carpenter. For the brands, we have Green Factory KL. We are on Instagram, on Facebook, and on TikTok right now. Um, our website is greenfactory.shop. And another brand, just one of our brand is Dapo. So Dapo, it's Dapoware. So it's DAPOWARE, macam Tupperware. So it's on Instagram, on Facebook, and basically those lah. You Google, you find lah Haris Computer, you find Green Factory, you find Dapo. So
Thank you, Harith.
connect with me lah on LinkedIn.
Boleh. Let me see. Sekejap. Is Bala still in Clubhouse? Nak tengok sekejap. Oh, he left, unfortunately. But tak apa. I believe he has actually connected to every one of us.
Nak buat announcement je boleh? 5 saat je.
Nak buat apa?
Announcement je, 5 saat je.
5 saat?
Okay.
RM1.
Okay, boleh. So 11 hari bulan 11 ni we are going to launch Najib Razak watches. So whoever in this Clubhouse and Pixel Play YouTube, so we are giving away RM100 discount. So if you are interested, so stay tuned. And we are going to DM us wherever, email us. We are giving you the promo code for the discount. Thank you.
Wow. Hear that, guys? 11th of November. RM10 discount
100.
RM100 discount for Najib Razak watches, our previous former Prime Minister of Malaysia. Thank you, Harith. Thank you, Bo. I believe this is not parting messages. We will still see you guys in classes session. Accelerator program tak habis lagi, and we will see more of you. In fact, you guys should be the mentors for future founders, inshallah. Abang Amir, Bron, thank you so much for participating tonight.
You're
Thank you for
welcome.
listening. Bo Harith, again, thank you for your participation. Actually, I nak sebut something tadi. In terms of hardship, your fallout apa semua tu, don't forget your backbone, Zakia and Aika. Right? Your wives, they were there for you. Jual kuih sama-sama bulan Ramadan nak beli tiket pergi Milan, right? And I don't know whether Aika joined you to jump into the dumpster tu. I don't want to know. I did actually invited her to speak in Clubhouse. She didn't accept. Mungkin dah pakat belakang ni. Jangan accept. So, but yes, I mean, as much as Jerry shared last week, your backbone is important. Your team, your parents, who support you, your business, for you to move forward, for you to jump back from your fallout apa semua tu. Thank you so much, Harith, Postami. We learned a lot from you guys tonight based on your personal experience. Really appreciate your honesty in terms of sharing with our fellow Clubhouse listeners and our fellow YouTube audience. Thank you to Clubhouse listeners who are still here. Dah pukul 11.25 dah ni pun. We're supposed to finish at 11, tapi tak apa. Bo, last one, Bo. Manchester City 2, Manchester United 0. Sorry bro, 2-0. Full time. Sorry not.
Dah menang banyak kali dulu.
Actually. Okay,
I
thank
like
you.
the spirit, yeah.
Thank you those watching in YouTube. Yasin, over to you. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much, Sharul, Brown, Nabame, Barazali. Thank you as well to our guest speakers for today, Harith from the Green Factory, Postami from ARTWIST, and thank you to all those who have tuned in on our Clubhouse and YouTube channel. This
Tunjuk
live
kan.
available in Pixel Play. Oh yeah, sorry, Sharul.
Tak. Go ahead. I was just
Okay.
giving.
Yeah, this live stream is available in Pixel Play Ventures YouTube channel. If you would like to see the recap session, do share with your friends. Please also do subscribe to our Pixel Play Ventures YouTube channel. And as for our next session, we will have a guest speaker from the Global Market Fit Program team from Magic and a guest speaker from Madrid to speak about the startup struggles and how do we grow faster. Same time, same place, 13 November, 9 p.m. on Clubhouse and Pixel Play Ventures YouTube. Thank you once again and see you next week.
Wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.